Hi there, I'm Anna Shaw, the writer and producer of the upcoming short film Disciples Rue. What you're listening to right now is the Disciples Rue discussion with the director, which was a 2-hour conversation that I had with our director, Caleb Gomez, where we talked through logistics of the first few scenes of the film. I've broken it into 4 parts for ease. This is part 1. Hopefully you find something interesting, and thanks for listening. Something I didn't want to talk about, the very opening scene, the temple courtyard scene. Let's figure out which lines we want Gabe to actually memorize out of that monologue. Yeah, because that's one of those things where, like, it's a good amount. And he has a lot of lines through the rest of it, too.
Yeah.
Which will be fine. But figuring out which ones we actually want his face on camera for.
Yeah, and then, let's see. Because, like, when we open up, right, does it open up on him, like, on him speaking already? Or is it like we're kind of weaving through the crowd a bit, kind of doing some establishing shots with some voiceover?
That's what I was trying to figure out. I was hoping you could help me with that. Because, like, we could start with sort of a wide establishing shot with some, like, simple movement of the group. I kind of like that weaving idea you just mentioned. That might be kind of cool. But I think that's why we need to look at these chunks of monologue and establish, okay, we want, like, this is a line that Iman needs to say on camera.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I think that can help us direct the camera then. I feel like the first sentence, if anyone would come, that one's a good sort of fade in, like a voiceover.
Yeah. I think I think just the line right after that one's a good one to have his face shown. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life.
Have the light of life. Yeah, I like that one. Then that's Iman's first close up or medium or whatever.
And for this monologue, right? He's elevated above everyone else. Like, he's either stepping on like the little bench area that's there in the picture, or like that block of cement.
Yeah.
I feel like he's elevated in front of it.
I actually had sort of a concept. Hold on, let me pull it up. It might take a second to pull up. But
or is he just amongst the crowd and, like, people just giving him space?
Yes, it sort of looks like the concept picture I did. That sort of same filter style, but the background picture is actually the spot, the Scorpion Gulch. So, because I had him thinking maybe like sitting. Let's see. Actually, it's like I'm just gonna take a picture and text it to you because I don't know how to do Zoom. But yeah, so
I don't know about him sitting. I would definitely say
you want him standing.
The thing is, standing elevated, like he's standing on something, or standing. People are kind of giving him space, and it's kind of like those people that you see on the streets, right? Kind of preaching a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really want him sitting there because I see him like as an everyman almost, but a little more elevated. Like I sent you, my point of reference is kind of the guy from Dune.
Yeah.
So, like, he's like an everyman, but he's like, people respect him, and he oozes respect.
Yes, for sure. So that was sort of the concept, because he is definitely elevated, but
that's pretty cool, actually.
That might be one too, where, like, because I'm thinking, like, at this spot where this picture is sort of like taken, the background is taken, like, that spot would be really cool to have him sitting, because, like, that tree is really cool right there, and the building backdrop, and there's, like, a nice little step thing where the people listening could be, like, sitting lower. But I know there's other spots, depending on, like, where we actually film at, where that setup will not work. So that might be, standing may be a location thing to determine.
Okay. Yeah. Then we'll figure that out on Wednesday.
Cool.
Yeah. Because I actually like this The thing that you sent me here. Him sitting down like that.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that kind of cool?
Yeah, that's pretty
Anyways,
cool.
but yeah, that's definitely figure out. Because another thing we got to think about is like, are the extras milling about? Like, is everyone standing attentively? And I think that depends on how many we potentially have. But
Yeah.
yeah. So, anyways,
And it's also like the guards are there, or like the temple leaders as well.
yes, yeah.
So like I kind of see it like as like a, I don't know, like a speech that was planned almost, and so everybody's there, kind of listening. So it's a little more formal thing, but
okay.
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah, that works.
So lines where we show you on space. So we got whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Let's see. I like the for the gate is wide and the way is easy that leads to destruction, and those who enter by it are many. Or the last line, for the gate is narrow and the way is hard that leads to life, and those who find it are few.
I think maybe end with that gate is narrow, because then that next action line is he looks up and sees the guards. So it could almost be like, because you got to think too, these lines in between, like maybe for the gate is wide and the way is easy that leads to destruction, we cut to Jude for a bit.
Yeah.
Or like the go sell all your treasure for your treasures in heaven, follow me. Maybe cut to Cephas for the follow me line, but like enter through the narrow gate, cut to Jovan. So, I mean, not necessarily in that order, but I feel like this last line is good. And in post, I can always mess around with where exactly we cut. But but I like that last sentence.
Me too. And even like so at the beginning, like the description lines on at the very beginning, right? Like, so is Iman in the middle of a speech, like when we open up, or is this like the beginning of a speech?
In my mind, it was like the middle.
Yeah, that's how it was in my mind too.
Okay.
But we could have it be like the beginning, and then like,
what if we took a more casual approach to it and made it more like maybe like the group of four are entering the marketplace, and almost like Iman starts speaking as they're walking, and then slowly people start to listen as he speaks, and then gather. I feel it's not long enough to do that, I don't think.
I feel like again, like I feel like this is like a planned speech. So it's like we could have him in the beginning, like walking up to wherever he's gonna speak from. Either he stands on something or he stops by the tree or something, and we kind of capture that, and then we're like, okay, this is him. And then, because you know how we're not showing Iman's face for the first line, right?
Yeah.
So right there, we could cut to the crowd and show everybody, and then show the three disciples. And then while we're showing that, like the voiceover is Iman's first line, and then we cut to the whoever follows me will not walk in darkness. That's when we show his face. So like we could either like at the very beginning we could show him walking up, but we don't show his face yet. We just kind of see I don't know, like his body or his feet or something like that.
Yeah.
And then
that could be cut to the cool shot.
We cut to the audience, and then we cut back to him in his face when he says, "Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness." That's when we first see his face.
Yeah, maybe get some inserts of people noticing him entering and like setting up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's a quick question. The whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, that line. Do we want to, just because I'm reading that and it feels very on the nose, could we do whoever follows like my father, or should we keep with whoever follows me?
Why to my father?
It feels a little on the nose, like, yes, this is very clearly Jesus right off the bat. Which is fine, but I mean, I guess it's pretty obvious though. It works.
But I feel like
if it doesn't bother you, then it's good.
Yeah, it doesn't really bother me. But I would say like if you say like whoever follows my father, like that's kind of also
That dives into all the other questions.
yeah.
Okay, that works. Cool. I just noticed that and thought I should mention that. Cool. So yeah, I like those two lines being
Memorized.
memorized. That whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, and then for the gate is narrow and the way is hard.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Um,
And then so the next half of his thing,
I like maybe just do that first sentence again, the beware of the teachers of the law and temple leaders, and then maybe cut back to the temple leaders when he starts describing them. Like they like to walk around in their flowy robes and
oh yeah. So
be
like
greeted with
he
respect, and
says
you
the
can show
first
them
line.
bristling or something.
So he says the first line, beware the teachers of the law.
Uh huh.
Like he memorizes that one.
Yeah, so say that one.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. And then cut to, yep.
Honestly, I feel like there's nothing else because I feel like during the rest of that we have the Jude and Temple leaders exchange.
Mm-hmm.
So like I almost don't think we need to see him until his next line, the surely I say to you, whoever conceals their sin does not prosper.
Let's see. Oh, because that's yeah, I agree with you. The only thing is like, what are we gonna fill that dialogue with? Like, what inserts are we?
Mm-hmm. I think
Um,
I think the whole Jude and Temple leaders exchange because I feel like the first bit of it, they love to be greeted in the marketplaces, most important seats at banquets, like that whole sentence, because that's a long sentence.
yeah.
That whole thing can mostly be on the temple leaders being annoyed with him, and we kind of get their reaction. And then maybe at the end of that sentence, and as he goes into the next one, we cut to Jude. Because what does it say? Jude shifts and looks over his shoulder. He makes eye contact with the leaders for a beat, and then he turns back to listening.
Ah,
Um,
okay, got you.
yeah, so I
Cool.
feel like that's pretty easily filled, and that's one of those two where like it's wordy. So in post, if I need to crop out like something about the most important seats at the bank, like that's not something I feel terrible losing. Do you agree or
Say it again.
like there's a bunch of I feel like there's a lot of fluff in this, which is fine, but fluff that can probably be taken out if needed. I think we should have enough coverage there, but
Yeah,
yeah, but I think we're good with that one. And then I like probably
you
haven't
memorized.
memorized the surely I say to you whoever conceals their sin does not prosper,
Yeah.
but the one who confesses and renounces them finds mercy. That the but the one who confesses, that one I feel like we'll cut to Cephas, and maybe do a two shot of Cephas and Jude.
Oh yeah. Well, let's just have
Um,
him memorize it
but
either
yeah,
way.
yeah, definitely have that one be good.
Okay,
Cool. I feel
that feels cool. You know what will
yeah,
help us is if we make a list of the B-roll shots that we need for this first scene, like all the inserts that we want.
yes, 100%.
Um, let's do that.
Sick. Okay. Opening scene. Do we want them entering or do we want them already in?
I think disciples extras are settled in. I think the only thing we see entering is Iman,
Okay. Disciple.
and just not showing his face yet.
So the disciples are already there, or do the four disciples follow in after him?
Hmm. What do you think? I think it's cool if because we focus on the you know what? I think they should follow him in.
Yeah. We could even
And
I'm sort of envisioning maybe like sort of an over the shoulder shot, so like we just get the back of his head and maybe like the three of them following behind and maybe have like Cephas look over his shoulder or like Jude look over or something, like notice
ooh,
the crowd as the crowd like sees them entering, they know who
cool.
they are and they know who like Iman is. Um so that opening shot, that could even be like a longer take of just the entrance.
I kind of like that. like over the shoulder,
Almost
like
like,
behind them, right? So like looking, it's like an over
yeah.
the shoulder shot, yeah, behind all of them, right?
Yeah, let me see if I can figure out a way to draw it sort of. There's people all around. So it's probably terrible. I don't know if you can see that, but or it's probably
Yeah,
bad. But that guy in the middle would be Iman, and then closer to camera are the two disciples, and then people
yeah.
just kind of all around. So something sort of like that maybe.
That's what I was thinking. That's yeah. Three
And we could
disciples
even
though,
film it in
right?
like 60, so we slow it down or something.
Okay. And the three disciples are in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I would say they're following.
And then do the disciples just walk off screen and we just keep the same shot and follow Iman? Or do we cut to another shot of just like Iman getting settled? We don't show his face yet.
Let's see. Does Iman he sits and let's say he plants and starts talking, or does he start talking while he's walking and then continues as he plants? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think no, I think he definitely plants and then waits for everyone to quiet down.
Okay.
Yeah, instead of talking while he's walking.
Because the other option is he starts talking and everything audibly quiets down as he
Yeah.
does, and then like as it quiets, he like turns to face the crowd. Something like super dramatic. No, not super dramatic, but or we could do just a traditional like plants and speaks.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can play around with it, but like either way, we still have to decide like what the next shot is. Is it
Yeah.
if he starts talking while he's speaking, would you still keep that same shot and just have that all happen in the same frame, or would you cut to another shot when he starts talking?
I feel like if he starts talking while planting, that whole first line that's not the voiceover line that if anyone would come, that would just be while talking, and I feel like we would as he starts talking start doing inserts of the crowd like looking towards him and quieting and noticing and like maybe going to their spots to listen. And then maybe when he plants and turns and like officially starts to speak, that's that line, the whoever follows me. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. So, but then we would have Gabe memorize the first two lines then.
No, because that first line, because honestly, all those inserts we would just grab the Saturday anyways. So
Hmm.
he wouldn't even be there. But because they're all the inserts, and then when he starts the line, it would just be a voiceover because we still have just the back of his head.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Um,
What are your thoughts?
hmm. I don't know. Like for me, I like that idea of him talking and walking. It's
Mm-hmm.
just um like why would he do that?
Why would you do
But
it?
it does look cool. Like I think it would look
It
really
does,
cool.
yeah.
Um and then like how does everybody like become quiet?
I think that's what motivates. I mean, either way, it motivates them being quiet. Like whether he stands and like waits and demands attention from the crowd, or if he talks and like people hearing his voice is all of a sudden like, oh, giving him it. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
it's almost like he's gonna. So if he's walking and talking, it's almost like he's gonna start speaking, and everyone else is like gonna realize and like tune in. And by time like everybody is caught on to what's happening, that's when he turns and delivers that the whoever follows me.
I like that. I think it would actually really help Gabe a lot as well. That
Yeah.
way we can get him kind of loose. Because if we make him stand and then speak to everyone
Yeah.
like in a formal setting, that might be
Public
intimidating.
speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that actually. Let's make it loose for because like Iman, I like him being a little bit like every man.
Yeah. Like pretty
Yeah,
is confident. Yeah, in who he is. So
I like that. Yeah.
cool. So I guess my next question would be, all right, we have that. I like kind of opening with that shot, we'll call it the back over the shoulder shot, the back of his head with the
Yeah.
disciples following. That over the shoulder shot, I like opening with that, what do we cut to next?
Well,
Do
we
we
would have
want to
to
just
cut.
go straight into inserts of people?
Well, he would have to. We would have to cut to Iman saying his line, right? To whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light. Oh, but you're talking about B-roll. My bad.
Yeah,
Um. Well, I mean, I think we should just do it in order. I mean, yeah, the next shot would be.
the
Oh no, but
crowd's
we're gonna do that
reaction.
all in one take. Okay, I'm seeing the fiction.
Got it.
All of the lines that we have Iman memorized, we're gonna shoot that all in one go
Not necessarily. We don't have to. I mean, we could, but
because
I
going
I
like
feel
back.
like no, just because some of them we may want to do like a close up of or different shots of. But again, like if it works out to where it's essentially the same shot on all those lines, we can just do it in one go.
I see.
Yeah.
So then, okay. Well, then, if that's the, what would be the other way that we would shoot his lines?
Um. Well, because I feel like the whoever follows me will not walk in darkness. I feel like that's like a medium wide or even a like a wide or cowboy shot. Because
Yeah.
we want to see the crowd starting to gather around him as he delivers that line. Um. And then for the gate is narrow. That line I feel like is going to be more of a medium closer. Maybe the same shot as the one that like beware the teachers of the law and the temple leaders like that. Those two, those end the end and the beginning of those lines. That I would say probably would be the same shot, like a close up, medium close up.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Okay.
and
Cool.
honestly, surely I say to you, whoever conceals a sin. I mean, that one could also be a medium close up.
Yeah, it's like a medium close up. Okay. Okay.
So we could
Um.
do those all in one go if we'd like.
Yeah.
That
Well,
might help the flow.
I think I'm jumping too far ahead. I think we just need to get the shots figured out,
Wait, we
and then
need
we
the
can
second
see,
shot.
and then we can see how we're gonna film them.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, so much of it depends on like where, like the specific spot we actually go
Yeah.
to. I feel like we're just gonna have to be adaptable with it either way. Cool. Cool,
All
cool.
right. So then inserts. So Iman says his line. Even whoever follows me when I walk in darkness will have the light. The first
Yes.
insert.
How many? We're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we have 8-ish extras total, including the guards and temple leaders. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Another 8 crew members who said they would be down to be extras. So we have 8 to 16 extras to fill the crowd. I feel like a crowd of like 10-ish is big enough because then there's us 4 as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and on camera, like making that seem like a lot of people. That's yeah.
Which in this space, 6 people seems like a lot of people. Like it is
Yeah.
kind of it's a smaller space. So
But I think you're saying like for like the wides that we do when
yeah,
Iman is.
we can stage some extras. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of almost like doing like some more like mediums and medium wides of like people turning when they first notice him. So that might be something where like Saturday we just get a whole bunch of like inserts of each of the groups. Like go through and assign the extras like what they're doing in the temple and like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I feel yeah. I don't know because like for that first shot, right? I like how you said like the disciples turn, and I feel like that's how we see that the temple people are starting to notice him is because the
yeah.
disciples are kind of like noticing them,
Mm-hmm.
and they're kind of scared.
Yeah.
Instead of like showing everybody at the temple, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like we reveal that through the disciples and their reactions. You know what I'm saying?
I get. Would what if we so we have that over the shoulder shot. What if we cut from before he starts talking? What if we like sort of hold on that shot and then we cut to maybe the 2 soldiers because those 2 actors can be there the whole time. So we cut to the 2 soldiers and maybe the soldiers look over and notice, and then we cut back to that same back of Iman's headshot, and that's when the disciples start to like, oh crap, like the soldiers are here, we're starting to get a little nervous. But then Iman's just totally at ease, which will encourage them. And I think that can motivate like Jude being nervous and then Cephas even being a little nervous. And then it can emphasize that Jovan is like totally at ease because Iman's at ease right now, you know? So
I like that.
Something kind of like that where like, yeah, you just have a quick insert of the guards.
Of the guards.
Yeah, and they could even maybe be standing with the leaders. So we get like all four of them sort of in like a shot-ish. And like we don't need to know who they are, but we just kind of see them and they're like, okay, we don't need to talk about this at this very second, but getting the guards some kind of weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm just gonna throw that out there and come back to it later.
Yeah, let's come back to that.
Let's come back to that.
But I see the problem in there.
We do indeed see the problem. Yes.
Okay. I like the idea of insert guards and temple leaders should be together.
Yeah.
I think. So yeah, let's put that down on the list. Yeah. Insert temple leaders with guards.
Honestly, I should be making a shot list. Is what I actually need to be doing.
Shot 1.
Shot
behind.
No, we got shot 2. Got shot 2.
Yeah. Shot 2 is insert of temple leaders and guards, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And shot 3 is back to the same over the shoulder.
Yes. Shot 3 goes right back to it. So I guess just in the description of shot 1, we just explain that. Have them walk in and then notice the guards and soldiers.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Enter. Sick. I feel like that's the only real. Because then I feel like in that over the like the back of the head over the shoulder, we hear Iman's voice, and then I feel like we hear if anyone would, and like somewhere in that anyone or would, we start doing some quicker cuts of like the people noticing him.
Yeah. Well, I think he definitely says his line after you guys notice the guards. So like as soon as like you see that, and then we see you turn, you guys are kind of worried. Then he starts talking.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah.
Cool. I guess this kind of depends on the location, but I think the 3 disciples are just sort of in the whatchamacallit. They're just sort of in the crowd, but like the front of the crowd.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that's another question. So do we see them breaking off? Like off the, that over the shoulder shot, do we see the disciples leave that shot walking away as Iman starts speaking?
Yeah, I feel like that should just be in part of the inserts. Like as we get the crowd starting to gather, we get an insert of the 3 of them finding their spots.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and you're saying that the first insert could be of just them 3 in the crowd.
Yes, we cut to their group forming. I mean, again, I think a lot of it depends on the staging and like the actual location.
Yeah, but I mean, we can still have it written down already.
I would say let's get some inserts of like the extras finding their spots, and then maybe get like 2 or 3 shots of the extras noticing, and then we cut to the 3 disciples, and that's maybe when they break away from Iman and join the crowd. So it's almost like Iman continues and they stop as the crowd fills in behind them.
Say it again.
So like so we have that behind the over the shoulder shot, Iman starts speaking. We cut to inserts of like some of the extras like looking up and noticing, or like groups of them starting to like go over. And then after like 2 or 3 of those, we cut back to the disciples, and but it's front. We see their faces now. Maybe not Iman's face. Maybe we see his like shoulder because he is tall. And like we see Iman continue, and the disciples stop, sort of starting the crowd, and then the rest of the crowd fills in behind them. And then we cut to that wider shot of the line, "Whoever follows me will not walk."
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Let's do that.
Cool. So let's do.
Cool. And then, okay. So then after that, the inserts after, his line that he actually says on camera. So like that big paragraph. So I tell you all the way to by Endos Winter by Armeni.
Yeah. I almost feel like this is probably terrible, but I almost feel like maybe like that section's not super, super long. So maybe almost like I'm thinking on Saturday, have someone just read that section, and each time we just get the reaction from each disciple. And then in post, we can decide who fits where.
Decide who fits where.
Yeah, so like basically just get a shot of just like Jude, his face through this whole bit that we can cut back to in post.
Okay.
And do that for each of the disciples.
Yeah.
I think effective, especially because there are no lines, maybe doing... I think we need to figure out, like... Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, if we keep a still camera on, like, let's say Jude, let's follow Jude. And honestly, through the entire speech, like, if we just got Jude... Because the way the speech ends... It implies that he's like that's not the end of the speech. That's how it's implied at the end, on the top of page 2.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So I'm almost feeling like maybe we have just like do like a medium close-up of each of the disciples and just get their reactions through the whole thing, and then establish where we want those in post.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I think that'll make it simpler too, filming. So I guess we just need to decide what actual shots do we want to get, and then get those shots for the whole thing.
I agree. That way we don't have to keep on doing stuff with extras and the disciples.
Yes,
and we can just do it all in one go.
Mm-hmm. And if we need to choreograph any of the extras, like, not that we should, but like any subtle movement in the background, it's just set and we can run the whole thing. Thank you so much for listening to part 1 of the Disciples Rue discussion with the director. If you want to watch the rest of the parts, they'll be linked down in the description, and we hope to see you over in part 2.